Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel, and we're back. We are out on the other side of Royal Ascot. I hope you had a very profitable Royal Ascot. You're probably one of the few if you did. I'm sure the three of us on here are going to have plenty of chat about what occurred across the 5-day event. Plenty of big price winners. If you put £1 stake on every single horse that ran at Royal Ascot, you'd be selling £600 in profit. An absolutely incredible stat. Gentlemen, it's a very interesting Royal Ascot, that's to say the least. But Harry, how are you on the other side of it?
I'm battered and bruised. I really am. It was a good last day, which kind of softened the blow a little bit. But for the first 4 days, I'd say you were kind of clutching at straws. And when I'm cheering home Gregory at even money, trying to get a little bit back, you're thinking, oh, it's not been a good week. But no, it was enjoyable. I think it was a little bit. No one could have predicted some of the results. I mean, it was just throw a pen up in the air.
You know, I mean, you couldn't, because we done all right.
Yeah, no. To be fair, you did do well, and to be fair to you two, on the Saturday live, Age of Kings, massive price. Ash gave a sweet mention to the older Cardem at 80-1, which is just. I did actually mention saying if Cardem won, then the game was gone. It well and truly has.
Lee, it's battered and bruised for Harry. We didn't have too bad a week in the selections, but it was still a very, very tough week. 150-1 Valiant Force winning. So how are you after Royal Ascot?
Oh, I'm still battered and bruised. Doesn't matter how many prices. Look, I didn't put Valiant Force up. I did back him at 150-1, but it was for a couple of quid. But
that's
we did put Age of Kings up.
That's the worst one. You should have put that one up. Out of every single selection, if you'd have put that one up.
Look, I would have got slated for putting that up. I thought people were going to laugh at my Age of Kings one, to be fair. But yeah, look, it was. Talk about battered and bruised. I feel like it's like a peach being thrown off the Empire State Building. I think that's how battered I am. But look, plenty of big price winners. Like you say, it's 621 quid, I think, is the Betfair SP. If you had £1 on every runner, it just shows like the prices that were going in, and there was 22s and 50s and that. But we had a good Saturday on the live. We had 5 winners out of the 7, so that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I think it was a good week. I think that was the worst piece of after timing I've seen from you in all of everything that went on with the Valiant Force.
You know what? I didn't mind after timing 151 shot. When it got us a bit money back, I was thinking,
get the hammers out. It's a shame I didn't have one on me when I was at Royal Ascot, but yeah, it's horrendous. Look, we're gonna go through a couple of things on this week's video. Plenty to go through. We're gonna go through Royal Ascot review. If we went through every single race, every single runner, every single winner, we'd be here for years. So we're just gonna go through our favourite performances. We've picked out 3. It doesn't have to be winning ones. It can be eye catchers. I've opened the floor up to the gentlemen. Harry, I'll go over to you first to mention your first horse you want to open up with.
Yeah, well, I'll kick it off. I think I'll go with my best one as well, and Pile Driver in the Hardwick Stakes, the Group 2. I thought he was very, very good. And I think you can upgrade the performance as well, because he was pulling a cart, turning around the straight. He never gave PJ McDonald his head once until PJ McDonald finally said, right, go on then, go and win your race. And he had a lovely change of gear down the outside. He picked the West Wind Blows and changing of the guard up. Deauville Legend and Free Win. I'd say Deauville Legend was a little bit unlucky, but got the gap and just wasn't. I think the race was over by then. But Pile Driver for me, there's going to be bigger and better targets for this horse to come. And Lee, you were the one that wrote him off, and I said,
look,
do it at your peril.
I didn't write him off. I said he'd need the run. I thought he'd need the run. I thought he was best in the race, but I just thought he'd need the run. Look, he's a nutter. He's a bigger cracker than me, him. And I just think he's an errant horse that needed the run, and that's why I wouldn't give him a chance first time out. But look, he didn't need the run, and he managed to get away with all these errant ways.
Yeah, it was good.
It It was an incredible performance from Power Driver. I thought. I actually went against him. I liked him on the video that we did alongside Harry, and then I sort of went against him in the fact that I thought, maybe he does need the run kind of thing. And then he got backed in, and he won very nicely. It was a brilliant performance and a brilliant story for William Muir, Chris Grassick. Just a fantastic training operation. Brilliant people. They won like Whirlpool Moment of the Day. The groom, the three of them. I think the groom, the rider, and the sort of like rider that does the regular riding when the normal one isn't there. They got $4,000 to split between the three of them.
I've seen that.
It was an emotional interview as well on ITV Racing. If you haven't seen it, it was touching watching it. It just, as you mentioned, Ash, a cracking story, and that's what Royal Ascot's about, isn't it?
When you've got like a stalwart horse like that who's doing everything for you and putting you in the limelight constantly, it's hard not to get.
Remember, he's a 6-year-old as well now. He's a 6-year-old, and against the 4-year-olds and Free Wind, who was 5, who I thought was a little bit disappointing. But again,
very disappointing.
You just can't take away from Power Driver. That was.
Is she that good though? That's the problem.
No, you fancied her at 6-5, so you must have thought she was all right.
because I thought she could step up to the plate, and I thought he would need the run. But yeah, I just.
You know what plate she'd be better off, and we'll preview that race later on. She'd have been better off in there.
We might give that a skim, but yeah, no, it's if she turned up in that'd be interesting. I will give it. It was a great moment to give the sort of everyone the $4,000 for Whirlpool kind of thing. I'll give a small shout to them. Got my cap in the background here. Whirlpool cap. I think that everyone involved with the horses that got the Whirlpool Moment of the Day, they were really sort of just over the moon. I think there's the Shaquille video rocking around on Twitter at the moment. That's absolutely brilliant. Lee, I'll go over to you next. Performance numero uno that you want to mention from Royal Ascot.
Best one was Paddington for me. I thought really put the race to sleep at the furlong pole. Beat Caldien. Sharon ran a good race. Shireen, is it? I thought that ran a good race. Yeah. Isaac Shelby was in behind. Indestructible. I know you lads fancied that horse each way. I thought went well to a certain point. Kind of just maybe either not good enough or blew up a bit. But I thought travelled really well. I thought that was going to be the danger to Paddington at one point. But yeah, look, Irish Guineas winner, beat the English Guineas winner, and stepped up. Look, Paddington's going from handicaps built up as well by Aidan O'Brien. What a training feat, I would have said it. So yeah, Paddington for me was best of the week, I would have said.
I was left scratching my head after Indestructible. I think they half fancied it. Listening to Kevin Stott, the betting movements in the market, they half fancied it, and it just didn't stay on in the last furlong kind of thing. I left scratching my head.
I was thinking before about it, and I thought traveling like a dream, and I thought, do they drop it back? But you couldn't drop that horse back because it gets a little bit outpaced, and it beat the Foxes, who then went on to win the Dandy and stuff. It's hard to know what you would do with that horse, but travelled so sweet. And I thought, oh, here we go. I thought the lads are onto something, but Paddington really did seal the race.
It may not be the worst idea to drop it back in trip. Like if you look at its Craven win, went from the front because it was keen. Then they took a pull and sort of a little bit of a rest for a furlong or so, and then went again. Like maybe that suggests like dropping it back to 7 kind of thing. If you can find,
he's got plenty of toe. He's got plenty of toe.
Yeah, he has. Maybe dropping it back to 7 wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. Like because just like the race over a furlong in the Craven, like getting a breather in, then going again, that sort of suggests like a drop down in furlong potentially. But we'll see with that horse. If we're going on the theme of best performances from our 3, I'll probably nail my colours to Shaquille. I thought he was really good in the Commonwealth. And look, if you follow me in on that one, then you'd probably be one of the few winners of the week from myself there. But that was pretty decent, I thought. Like rearing up in the stalls, giving best part of 5 to 7 lengths away. And what I really liked is they sort of like Oisin Murphy didn't go for the easy route. He could have, because he had such a big gap between him and the field right at the start, he could have just moved out to either side and taken the easy route of like, right, I'm not going to get into any trouble, but decided to go into the heart of the pack, get some cover, run it like a normal race, like he hadn't just lost 7 lengths at the start, and try his best from there. I thought it was a super engine. And like I go back to talking to James Doyle at Newbury when I said to him, that took you till like the 1 mile, like nearly the 1 mile 2 start to pull him up after his Carnarvon Stakes win. Like genuinely, Noble Star stopped from the corner. James Doyle had to wait all the way around, sort of like getting into the back straight, on the back straight to pull him up. And I asked James Doyle afterwards, like, could you go up and trip, or this has got some engine? He said, do you know, you could go up the Jersey very easily, but why would you? This horse has got such a good toe over 6. Like, I think this horse is got some quirks, got some personality, but I think he's a really, really good horse, Shaquille. And people, go on.
I was going to say, I think maybe it's the stiff Ascot 6 and getting dropped out really helped the horse, getting that lead into it and then being able to come through. It was.
Can you imagine if it had broke? Can you imagine if it had broke better? If it had broke better, oh my! If it had broke better, oh my god!
I think how it panned out helped the horse personally.
Yeah, it's if buts and maybes on that, but I think it's just an absolute. Oh, geez, it was a great performance now, and like won it like snugly at the end, like length and a half. Little Big Bear had a great run through. Like I don't know, this is something special, I think, and I absolutely love him. He's gone into sort of like top horse in training for me for favoritism. I absolutely love him.
Was there much in behind on the day? I would have said that bit. I'm trying take out the Bear, who I think is a good horse still, but was there much in the race?
In that race, to be honest, but like it's a fair field now. Like the Bear obviously got backed and he was fancied and he went off odds on or pretty close to odds on.
10 to 11,
that Swing Along's a fair decent horse for Carl Burke. Is he top level? Not sure. Rumstar, like you can maybe question the form, but like Mischief Magic, I know the Appleby form is massively under a cloud, but like Mischief Magic's still a fair horse, like a Group 1 winner. Or a Grade 1 winner, over in the US. And you know, I think there's a fair form. There's a fair bit of depth to it, but not maybe too much. But yeah, Shaquille was mine. Harry, roll back round to you for number 2.
Twilight Calls. Was beaten in, I want to say 4th against. I can't think of the horse who won it now. It's off the top of my head. Brad Sell, yeah, that was right. Brad Sell, and then obviously. If you watch the race back, Ryan Moore was actually one of the last ones off the bridle, and it was painful to watch because Ryan Moore had obviously he'd won a couple of races before. He'd obviously had River Tiber the race before that, and you're thinking, Ryan, just don't get this one trapped in. I mean, it absolutely flew home. And over the stiff 5 as well. You're thinking it's a pretty tough thing to do. And obviously Anaf was in 3rd for Mick Appleby. Now, Anaf is one horse you do want to take forward because that horse has only finished a couple of lengths behind Dramatise at a massive price. He was beaten at, I think it was another huge price at York at 50s. That horse Mick Appleby's done a remarkable job of finding the places with Anaf. And obviously Highfield Princess, who we've seen was 3rd behind Cardem, the 80-1 horse. On the Saturday. And Brad Sellers, Twilight Calls, I think, listen, he's a 5-year-old now, so you're going to think that time's slightly against him, but I think he'll have a big one towards the back end of the year.
Big shout out to Mick Appleby, by the way, for a fantastic Royal Ascot for him. Good run with Anaf, the winner with Big Evs, and a nice run by... what was the thing in the Orazio race, the Wokingham? I've forgotten the name now. The name will come back to me. He had a horse that finished 3rd in the Wokingham as well. That I put up. I can't even remember the horse name now, but he had a fantastic Royal Ascot. So really well done to Mick Appleby.
Is it Juan Lapan?
Juan Lapan. Lee, go over to you. Number 2.
In the Hampton Stakes on Thursday, the Group 3, that was over 1 mile 2. I did think there was a couple in behind Wapiro, who was a good winner. But I think Torito stayed on well, only beaten 2 3/4 for the Gosdens. Actually, the choice, not the choice of Frankie. And actually, I think it was Benrod de la Sayette who took the ride. But I did like Colin Naffin as well for Mick Shannon. Was 3 lengths beat. Had been 3rd in the Oaks as well, behind Save Last Dance and stuff. I thought that one stayed on well. It was going to be an eye catcher. I did back the horse, so your eye is always drawn to them type of horses, but I did think them two stayed on well. So Colin Naffin and Torito, I think, can go on to better things. Maybe stick with this grade though. So that was in the Hampton on Thursday.
I was on mute there.
There's
Fantastic work from me there, Ash.
1-0.
1-0, very good from me. I'll stick on a similar theme in the fact I'll give up a horse who did win, but maybe goes a little bit under the radar here. I thought Warm Heart was very good in the Ribblesdale. I thought she won that very nicely, and obviously your eyes are always going to be on Alasifa, who was the one that was odds on, didn't perform. But I thought that Warm Heart was very, very good. She sort of like took it up from prominently positioned, great ride from Ryan Moore, and then just like up that. Again, you can rinse and repeat that phrase, but was just very, very good. Like, she went up that far side rail, she got a lovely route through, in fairness, but like once she got to the front, she didn't show any sign of greenness or like unwillingness to go on. She went. Her eyes were there. She didn't need any blinkers or anything like that, or cheap pieces or headgear. She just went, and it was just a brilliant action. She's a brilliant mover of a horse, and she just went up that far side rail. And maybe Alasifa didn't stay. That is fairly, I'd say Alasifa didn't stay. And then Warm Heart was just very, very good. I think you could see Warm Heart turning up in a fairly decent race, being a bit missed in the market potentially, because people were a bit surprised by the victory and the fact that Alasifa took up most of the market, and they were maybe look at that race a bit poorly. But I thought she was very, very good, and the form has been backed up in the fact that Blue Stocking, the horse she beat at Newbury, was staying on at the line, having had a fairly rough route through. So it seems like those two horses are fairly decent, and Warm Heart just confirmed the form there. So I really like Warm Heart.
And in the Group 1 Pretty Polly at the weekend, we're unsure if she'll go there, and we probably don't think she will. Maybe it's a tough race, but that just shows that she's got that class if she's been entered in the Group 1.
Yeah, I agree. So if she goes somewhere decent, I will probably be with her. Harry, roll back to you for the final one you want to mention.
Well, I've got a question for you, gents, and it's not really a performance of the week. Well, Mostadaf, it's the racing question, the Prince of Wales. Mostadaf was a good winner, but I'm going to put the question to you boys. Are Luxembourg, and I know Adayar's obviously the Derby winner, etc. My Prospero's in there, Baybridge. Is this just an average renewal of the Prince of Wales? Ash?
No. I don't think it's an average renewal. I think it's probably one of the best renewals we've had for a while. But I think there can be potential excuses for the horse in behind. Only potential. I think that Adiyar is better when not on rattling quick. I know he won a King George at Ascot on fairly rattling quick ground that day, but what did he beat? Mishriff, and if I'm leaning back in my memory, did Mishriff miss the break massively and stayed on? I think if I'm remembering correctly or something. But I think he's better for a bit of cut in the ground or just on that softer side of good. The same can potentially be said for Baybridge, won a champion stakes on good soft ground. And Luxembourg is very much a hot or cold horse for me. You don't have to go too far back to only just scraping through against Insinuendo. But then obviously putting a fantastic performance to beat Baybridge. I think you can have excuses for the horses, but I think Mostadaf was very, very good. And I think the 128 that has been given, I think the handicap as well.
No, it's ridiculous.
I think he's well within his right to go 128. I think he's well within his right. He's beaten. He's on
so you're honestly, a pound below Equinox.
You take that out. Take that out of the radar. I'm just getting the ratings up now, but he's because I want to quote this correctly, but he's well within his right to do something like that. Absolutely. When Adiyar is coming into the race rated 121, Luxembourg is 123, My Prospero is 121, Baybridge is 122, and even Classic Causeway 18 lengths back is 110. You have to be rating that horse at least 125.
But it says something about the rating, the actual ratings things, because how is I can't get my head around it. They're all
120. They're all the horses he's beaten bar Classic Causeway are all 120 horses. I don't think anyone could dispute.
But then if they've underperformed, why is that horse going up so much?
Okay, maybe the handicapper has read the form literally, but I don't think you can. I'm speculating in the fact that I think there could be potential ways that the reasons why the horses haven't performed maybe to 100%. I'm only speculating. There's like other performances where you can like genuinely, let's not read the form literally, lads, because that would be horrendous. But like, he's well within his right, I think, the handicapper, to have this horse rated at least 125. And he's gone 128. Maybe it's a pound or two over what it should be, but I think he's well within his right to do that. He's beaten 120 horses. He's beaten Luxembourg 123 by 4 lengths. You have to go at least 125 on the horse, you know?
No, you don't.
I agree with both of you on two sides. Look, I think the rating is well over the top. But I do think that they underperformed in behind. It's hard to then give a rating because are they running to their true rating until next time out and a few runs after? Then you maybe could adjust it. But look, on the day, it's hard to then say he didn't perform to that level. Do you know what I mean? But I do think it's a bit excessive, to be fair. I don't think any in behind performed to their true potential on the day. So the performance was exaggerated for me.
One thing I would
say.
I want
to ask this. I'll throw it both to you. What rating should Mostataff be then?
Well, I would take that horse on every single day of the week if he didn't
I'm not asking that question. I'm asking what rating should be.
What rating should he be?
Come on, Mr. Handicapper.
I'd say I'd give him 124.
He's beaten a 1-2-3 horse by 4 lengths here. Come on now.
Was it 1-2-3 rating on the day? Like, they haven't performed, surely. I don't know. We don't know that.
Yeah, do you think Luxembourg has ran to a rating of 123 there, right there?
Yeah, that's what
There's nothing to suggest he hasn't. Maybe he's raced to 121 or 1. Maybe he's raced to 121. Maybe I have Mostataff 127 or 126.5, but you can't have 126.5. But I think you have to go at least 125 on him, at least. There's no suggestion.
You're giving yourself a £3 swing there. Like, look, if you think
Luxembourg rated 123 has beaten Adyar 121 by half a length, who's beaten My Prospero 121 by 2 lengths, who's beaten Baybridge 122 by half a length.
Who have all run to RPRs of what?
120, 119, 115, 114.
Right. Look, I'll put a different question before we get too into it, right? Will the form be upheld?
Absolutely not. No way.
Ash?
Yeah. If conditions, if conditions,
it's like how long's a piece of string? Mostataff, if he gets 1 or 2 on rattling ground, it'll be tough to beat. But if not, you'll be taking that horse on every single day.
Well,
Let's move on.
We'll move on to a Jumpmont International then when this horse rocks up next on decent ground, and I'll take you on there swinging sunshine. Anyway, Guy, I've forgotten what we're even doing. Lee, what was your next one?
5-1, by the way, that horse is for the Jumpmont International. What a horrific price that is.
Very, very small tangent. What would you be backing in that race? What price are the other horses?
Auguste Rodin's 4-1. If that turned up, that'd be 1-4 to beat Mostataff.
Adyar, Luxembourg.
King of Steel's 8-1. I'd be having
Adyar, Luxembourg.
You just won't back them. They're just not that good. It's an average. It's an average crop. It's an average crop.
That's more than Yarra at the time. That you'd be tough to have a bet in that race anyway.
It's a game of opinions, and obviously we have different ones here. It's a fantastic game.
When do we not? When do we not?
When do we not? Lee?
I'm going to go with, look, you're going to mention the horse. We're going all the way back to the first race, the Queen Anne, on Tuesday. You'll mention Triple Time. I thought Triple Time done a lot wrong. After a couple of furlongs, was still outweighed in the solo, had to track across, kind of pulled the head off it, and still won well, I would have said. Inspira was in behind, thought she needed the run. Modern Games was in there. I thought he was disappointing after winning the Lockinge, but all of Applebee's was the same. And Godolphin, let's be fair, they didn't have a winner in 26 horses, which on an average week, that's bad enough. But then to go to Royal Ascot and not have a winner after 26 runs, not good enough maybe for the yard and the team, sorry. I did think disappointing, which a horse I backed, was Lucille. Was last, travelled well, maybe he's dropped down in class, a drop down in trip, maybe he's go back to 7, I would have said. Not just quite cutting it at mile in them top class races. But my eye catcher of the race was Angel Bleu. I thought the horse got mullered by Frankie just before the 2 furlong pole. Absolutely wiped out. Hector Crouch was on the horse, and it had to literally stop riding, like completely stop riding. Lost a fair few length, and then stayed on really well. I thought that was the eye catcher at the line. But I did think Triple Time won well enough, and Inspiral will come on for the run. But yeah, if you watch back, that Angel Bleu was mullered.
Yeah, I agree there. And Triple Time is the horse that I'm going to mention. Triple Time, handicap as well, in his right to rate this horse 135, 140. I think is an absolutely fantastic performance.
Oh, will you stop?
I think Melvin is right. He's beaten Inspire, rated 115 by Neck. So I reckon
Who would you have just on that? Who would you have if they reappeared against each other?
Triple Time.
What race? Give us the race. Same conditions and that.
Same conditions, but Inspire with a run behind her.
I'd like it 1 mile and 57 yards on a going stick reading of about 4.5 maybe, and that'll be perfect for Triple Time. No, look, in all seriousness, I really like Triple Time here. I thought he was a fantastic winner. Interestingly is that he runs with a gag, and if not many people know what that is, it's a stronger bit in the mouth of the horse. It's a gag. It's a technical term in the industry, gentlemen.
You definitely know what a gag is.
It's a technical term. It's just a stronger bit in the mouth because the horse can get a little bit lit up. You people now. It was and not many horses run with it, let alone Group 1 winners, because he can get a little bit keen. But listening to trainer Kevin Ryan,
the gag stops that, doesn't it? Like,
well, no, it's just a stronger bit in the mouth, gentlemen. Please get your head out the gutter. It's listening to Kevin Ryan. The key to the horse is settling it within the first furlong. And once they can settle it within the first furlong, they basically can just let it stride out because it's got such a long stride on the horse, generally like a massive, powerful stride. So it may seem like he's pulling the arms of the jockey off after 2 or 3 or 4 furlongs, but he's just got a massive stride on him. It's just about keeping that sort of, the lid on it in the first.
Well, actually, I thought by looking, just looking, I thought, look, he's pulling the head off it. Like, and I didn't think maybe he'll stay on his best, but that's interesting.
Yep. I'm just bringing technical terms and technical information here, and you two are just head straight in the gutter. No, but look, I thought he was really, really good. And first time out with the horse, they obviously liked the horse. He got back for the lock-in before being taken out on vet's advice. What I didn't know until I listened to the Betfair Weighed In podcast is that they were worried. They were genuinely worried about the horse on the day. They took him to the local vet to get checked out on the day of the lock-in. So they're obviously a bit worried there, but he's all come out, all safe and sound, and he's gone and won a Group 1. Like, this horse, if you remember, he had sort of like a long time off, and then sort of like came and beat Takarib Bay, I believe, off the top of my head, first time out. God, that's knowledge now. Shrewd punter. I thought Triple Time was very good. I think he's going to be a very, very good horse over a mile in a division that's maybe not vintage. If he lined up against Inspiral again, giving weight away again, I'd have no issue on taking Triple Time again. I thought it was a very, very good performance. Gentlemen, we've covered Royal Ascot there very well in our favourite performances. If you don't mind, we'll go on to looking ahead to the racing on the weekend. We've got the Irish Derby to look ahead to, although it may not be much of a punting aspect. We still got to look forward to it. The Pretty Polly as well. We've got some races up at a track called Newcastle. Don't know where that is. Maybe Lee will be able to help us out there, and we will go to the land of the Howes up at Newcastle. 12:55.
The land of the Howes.
We'll go to the 12:55.
I should have done a little quiz of what words mean and see if you actually understood them.
Geordie Slingo.
I'd probably leave the call, to be honest. The 12.55 at Newcastle is the Group 3 Chipchase Stakes. Anaf is still in the race, having raced in the King Stand at Royal Ascot, finishing third, 3-1 for Mick Appleby. El Caballo in there at 4s. Brad the Brief 5s. Diligent Harry 13s2, same price as Tiber Flow. Bigger prices about the rest. Harry, I'll go over to you first of all.
Yeah, it's a good little race, this. Anaf, you're taking the chance this horse won't be going, in my opinion. I think 3-1 anti-post is short, bearing in mind had a pretty tough race in the King Stand, obviously, as you've just mentioned, Ash. El Caballo, I think this horse is regressing. I really do. I know it was a good bounce back to form, some sort of form against is it Jumbie?
Did you say the word regressing?
I think he is. I think the horse is. I think the horse is, compared to what he could have been last year. At the back end of last year, he was absolutely firing them in, wasn't he?
I just don't think that's maybe achieving the talk of the horse. I don't think that's I think there's notable signs of regressing.
No. Okay, well, he's not getting better, which is regressing.
Look, I'll get on to it in a minute, but just to go with that point, he's had 2 runs on conditions that didn't suit, and then last time nearly got chucked over the rail and should have beat Jumbie in a group race. So,
but then the astrologist came out and
franked the form fairly well, actually, finishing 5th in a Jubilee Stakes before you go and batter that out.
Yeah.
You've had the feathers. You've ruffled the feathers there of being Lee.
Al Caballo, yes, I always do. I think that is my main purpose of being on this channel, is to ruffle the feathers. But Tiber Flow, for me, Ash, let's just cut the shit. I think that Tiber Flow is definitely a horse that is improving, and his record on the all-weather speaks for itself. He's 3 from 4, and he only finished a short head behind El Caballo. And if my theory is right that El Caballo is not as good as what he once showed, or what he could be or could have been, I think Tiber Flow will reverse the form from when they last met over course and distance on the 15th of April 2022. So Tiber Flow for me. I think this. I'd take the 13-2 because I think with Anaf coming out, we're taking that Anaf comes out. I think this race could cut up big time.
Lovely stuff, Lee. Seems like the viewers know what we're backing.
Yeah, look, I'll take El Caballo. I do think the horses. Between him and Anaf, to be fair, if Anaf goes, have a very, very good chance. But I think should have definitely beat Jumbie the last day. Like I say, nearly got through the fence at one point and had no way out. The door was shut in his face, basically. And I don't think had the conditions to suit the 2 runs beforehand. And I think what did you pick, Harry, again?
What did I pick?
Tiber Flow.
Yeah,
Tiber Flow.
Yeah, regressing for me. Only joking. I think Tiber Flow is probably the trick and nout.
No, here we go. You can't slag me off and then use my slingo. You can't do that.
No, I said no.
It's
nothing. I said no.
Slingo. What's slingo? I always come out with these words.
I think you mean Sligo, the Irish track, if you're going to pronounce it correctly. No, look, I'll go in with the El Caballo as well. I actually watched back his run the last day because I had you want a match bet on where we've got
lost quite a lot of these match bets all season.
You may just back the horse. You may just back the horse at 13.
I have.
You've lost another match bet in Ascot because you said they wouldn't have American winner. Remember?
I did also say Wesley Ward wouldn't have a winner, which I
was you said
right.
The Americans.
You said American horses.
No, I said Wesley
George
Ward,
Weaver
and then I said Americans. Yeah.
You owe Sam Hart but 100.
I owe Sam Hart a lot.
Look, I went back and back to this race. I went back and looked at El Caballo's last run because I sort of had the blinkers on Jumbie the last day having backed him, and I thought it was a great run. He didn't really get a run, did he? Now, like he was the meat in the astrologist and Gorak sandwich. I'd never really got a run. Very interesting, actually. You mentioned about the going for this horse, about like how the conditions. Lee. I went back and read the race report from the Commonwealth Cup, because they sent this horse off 7-2 for last year's Commonwealth Cup, having opened up at sort of 9-2, and the trainer said to the stewards that the horse was unsuited by the going, which is officially described as good to firm, and prefer a bit more ease in the ground. And then his run at Doncaster at the start of the season, the trainer, the colt was unsuited by the going.
It was very soft, though, very soft.
It's just, I know there's two extremes, which is quite funny when the trainers would prefer ease and prefer quicker. It's like as a horse in the Grand National. I think Andy Cummins said about it, like the time it won was in a small field, and it was like the trainer reported that this horse enjoyed the less runners in the field, and they went and sent it to a Grand National, and people were like, that was funny. No, I thought you ran a very good race on good to firm ground at Haydock the last day, and I think should really come on for the run. Getting a clean run should probably go and win this, I'd say. And
progressive.
I'll be with the regressive horse in El Caballo. We go to the Northumberland Stakes, Northumberland Cup. The plate. I've put Northumberland Stakes there, but we're going to go with that. You all know what I mean.
Derby, that's what it's called.
It's been a long day. I've moved out of the house. It's been a long day. The 205 at Newcastle is the Northumberland Plate, not the Northumberland Stakes. Post Impressionist 6-1, Adjuvant 8s, Zoffy 8s, Golden Rule 10s, and bigger price about the rest. I'll come over to you, Lee, first of all, for the Northumberland Plate as I get this changed on our screens.
I hope when we're coming to Cheltenham that you put the gold stakes and stuff like that. You know, you're getting the top race in Newcastle wrong. Though, I
thought that was the Fighting Fifth.
Well, that's over jumps, you know.
Well, you know, you could have one or the other, Northumberland Plate or the Fighting Fifth, and I think I know what the answer would be.
I'd take the Fighting Fifth. You know what? This is very.
You can't take the Plate over the Fighting Fifth.
Bouvedere stomping.
No, I'd take the Fighting Fifth just because I love. But in Newcastle to win this, Brian Ellison's been trying to win it all his life. I can see the track from my back window, and I've been going every year since I was about 7 or something. But
is it raining again?
It is. It's lashing down, but that means no difference because we all know all weather, so it's fine.
Very true.
No, I do think there's one in here at a good price. Nathaniel Green at 20-1. Was actually got sent off 4-1 favourite against favourite for Saturday's race, Post Impressionist. It's actually beat Gio Valletto a few runs back. It's actually been dropped £1 as well, and it was behind the Gold Cup winner Courage Mon Ami as well last time out, I believe, or maybe 2 runs back there.
Yeah, last time out.
Yeah, so I just think at a massive price, 20-1 against them type of horses, Gold Cup winner being sent off favourite against the favourite for Saturday's race, and also Gio Valletto is strong form. Adriana Azzini, sorry, I've butchered that. You tell us
Andrea Azzini.
Yeah. Look, use our draining the life out of us. That's why I can't pronounce it. No, Azzini, he's been jocked up as well. And yeah, look, 20-1, I think, is a massive price. I would give a shout to Law of the Sea. Travelled well the other day, over 2 mile 4. If this one does the quick turnaround from Ascot, I think can go well. Was 4th in a Chester Cup. I think this trip will suit. Law of the Sea is a big price as well at 20-1. There's plenty in there. I would give a shout as well. So my second choice, Nathaniel Green's my first choice. My second choice would be Golden Rules for Deborah Falconer. Not many people would have heard of the trainer, but Oisin takes the ride. Won on the horse last time. Been raised £3. Stays the trip well. Yeah, I think that one's got a good shout, and it's been well backed as well. But Nathaniel Green, each rate 20s, is definitely a good play, I would have said, for the Northumberland Plate.
Thank you very much. Nathaniel Green is my second choice of the fancies for exactly the same reasons. The form is there with the Gold Cup winner with Giovaletto as well. So I have to be with you at that price, 20-1. But there's one horse that just sneaked in ahead. I'll go to you first of all though, Harry, because you fancy one at a similar price.
I put one up. I actually mentioned the wrong horse, Ash. It's
Oh,
Hadrianus.
what do you like?
It's the same connections. It's Hadrianus though.
Oh, right, okay.
25-1. Now listen, this horse, probably the best run was behind Gregory on his penultimate start, but been running into some nice horses. Obviously, the likes of Arrest, Adelaide River, at Chester in the Chester Vase. Has now been dropped £1, I believe, from the last run. So runs off a mark of 101. But you have Roberto Escobar in there, who's going to be carrying top weight, it looks like, off 107. So the horse is going to be getting weight. I think if Hadrianus can get to the front, I think just could put that experience to good use. And behind these better horses, he might just find this a little bit easier. And I think could run well at a nice price if he goes. But I wouldn't be diving in anti-post at 25s. I think he'd still be...
Just to say, Harry, like what you're going to say, try not to maybe dive in if people are listening, because we've got the Vase as well, which is a consolation race. Some might go into there, some might not come from Ascot. There's plenty that might not go and the race would cut up.
Exactly. There's better anti-post plays that you can have. You could probably have one towards Cheltenham that you know will run, whereas this one you have no idea. So I'd leave this anti-post wise, but if Hadrianus turns up, I would be having a small each way play.
You'll definitely get them extra places on the day as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just a small mention, he is rated 101 officially, but he will run off 102. Yeah. It's just an early closing race. And you should get a run, Harry, although it says number 29 on the page. That's because they haven't resorted the runners to weights to official ratings. So he's actually, if he goes, he's the third highest rated in the race. So you should get a run. So don't never fear with Hadrianus. As I said, mentioned Nathaniel Green there, but the one I like is Zoffy. If he goes, which fingers crossed with the booking of Ben Curtis already, hopefully he does go. I thought you were on a cracking race in the Ascot Stakes just gone. There'll be 11-day turnaround, but he's not adverse to doing that. Just looking back for his form previously, he ran off a 21-day break when Newmarket to Goodwood in 2022. Did something similar at the start of his 2022 season when going from Salisbury to Carlisle in 25 days. Before that's got November 8th to November 21st, which is 13 days back in 2021. So the horse isn't the first to be chucked out quickly after a run. I thought he ran a great race in the Ascot Stakes. He was so far back in the field, like, a good sort of 8 to 10 lengths back in the field, went about 4-5 wide round the bend and was always staying on. He was behind the likes of Calling the Wind, who I'm deserting for the first time in 3 runs, having backed this horse the last 2 times and been disgracefully disappointed each time. I'm deserting because I'm not sure if he's very can deal with the quick turnaround yet. He could do, but he just hasn't been tried. And the same with Law of the Sea. I can see a reverse in form with Law of the Sea. Law of the Sea was going, from the front, going backwards at the line. This one was gaining with a closer run, with a better run through. I think he would have done better. Zoffy obviously won the consolation race last year, and although he's off a mark of 95, which is creeping to the top of his handicap mark, I still think there was plenty of promise in his run in the Ascot Stakes. So I'll be with him at a fairly decent price.
Just quickly, just on that Calling the Wind, I think it went from Ascot to Goodwood, the long race at Goodwood last season as well. So maybe that's the target for Calling the Wind.
Very true. Yeah, very, very true. You're not wrong there. So yeah, those are our fancies on the screen, and some decent prices. Zoffy there, 8-1, 20s, and Hadrianus 25-1. Gentlemen, the first Group 1 race we're going to talk about is the Pretty Polly Stakes. Now, unfortunately, although there are confirmations, 5-day confirmations for the race, there aren't any prices yet over at the Curragh, but we're still going to have a stab at the race. You've got the likes of Above the Curve in here, Insinuendo, Ross Carberry, Stay Alert, Trevenant, Via Sistina representing the British. Got bigger, number 11, Never Ending Story. Some nice types in here. Warm Heart is still there, but we don't know if she's going to go. I'll go over to Harry, first of all, for your first say on the Pretty Polly.
I'm going to fire back over to you. Now, I want you to introduce this race again, but I want you to name the prices, and I just want you to have a guess. As if you were just announcing the race as you would normally have it. How would you price this up?
Oh, steady on now. I'm a handicapper, as you can tell by this. I'm not a bookmaker.
I think it's going to be wide open.
Know. I'd probably say that your top two in the market is going to be Comra, and above the curve.
No way.
Probably above the curve is going to be Favourite at maybe.
You know how I'd have it? I'd have Viva Sistina 2s. Comra maybe is a bit big. I would say Viva Sistina 2s above the curve, freeze area just above, and then that Comra maybe's. I think it'll go a bit missed. I think 5s or something.
Yeah, I think Comra will be about 8s.
I think you think they'll be 8 to 1. I'm not sure.
I think it'll be about 5s.
I think it'd be a decent. You've got to look at these horses. I mean, George Bowie's sending Via Cecina, who absolutely pissed in at Newmarket. That was one of the most taken performances I've seen this year. I thought
the visual of watching Viva Sistina last time out will make her favourite. I would have said.
Yeah, it was a proper performance, and there's some decent horses in there. Random Harvest was 7th that day. Who came second to Rogue Millennium at Royal Ascot. So the form's been franked for Via Sistina, and I think if any amount of improvement, that horse won't be far away.
Surely Jamie Spencer will do a Sariska and come there swinging.
Yeah, well.
What do you like, Gary?
I like Comra. I like Comrash, which I'm kind of hoping is why I said 8 to 1.
I think you'll be hoping a bit too much there.
Yeah, but listen, all you got to do is just look at the form lines. A length behind Tahira, arguably unlucky, I thought, was kind of trapped. You actually watched back when in the 1,000 guineas, the Irish one. Excuse me. When Comrade left the stalls, I mean, I thought she got bumped coming out of the stalls. Lost a bit of ground, and you just think only beating a length, what could have been against the star girl in Tahira. But I think Comrade
before that though.
What's that?
Comrade, like to warrant,
Yeah, she hasn't been beaten far in the Group 3 at Leopardstown. She was only beaten a few lengths behind Insinuendo, a length behind Meditate at Nace back last year, I want to say. There's form lines to go off, and I think I'd want to be taken on above the curve. That's what I'd want. That's who I'd want to be taken on.
I won't be taking on above the curve, but I'll be simply with above the curve. I think
a lot of weight.
What do you mean a lot of weight?
She's got to give £10 to Comra, the likes of if Aidan sends a few of his.
She's got to give £10 to like half the field, but I don't think that's any issue at all, really. I think she's a very, very good horse. I think she's a very, very good horse against her own sex. She's just fairly decent. She won obviously over in France on good soft ground. If it was to turn up quick ground, I'd maybe have a small concern there. Like she was a bit disappointing in the Breeders' Cup when she was favourite and then sort of like role reversed with Tuesday, who obviously won the race over in the Breeders' Cup. But she has got form on yielding, beating a Sinuendo and beat Forts of June on a second start on good ground. So if it just stayed that good ground, I'd be surprised if it went good to firm at the Curragh, but I'd have to check the weather apps while maybe Lee's talking or something. But I like above the curve. I think she's fantastic. I think she's a really, really good mare, and it's going to be quite difficult to get. You're going to take a good one to beat against her own sex, and I think Lee, you agree with above the curve.
I do, yeah. I think she's got the best form there. I think Viva Sistina's probably exaggerated the margin the last day. Whether George Boy's in quite the same form. I know he's been in good form all season, but not been fair in the winners of late. And maybe put us off. Maybe at a shorter price. Conrad did do well the last day, but again, the race didn't. I don't know. Maybe that was exaggerated as the eye catcher as well in the race. Warm Heart, I don't think it'll go after Ascot. Yeah, I'm with above the curve, and I thought winning that the race in St. Cloud the last day was the best form, I would have said. Like Harry says, got to give the bit weight, but I think she's up to it.
Brilliant stuff, gentlemen. We'll then go on to the Irish Derby Stakes, the final race we are going to cover on the Sunday. I believe it's the first time they've raced the Derby on the Sunday since 2011. I think that was what I got sent through. Yeah, I believe that's correct. I think it's for the Whirlpool thing to get interest there. Brilliant to see it on a standalone day on the Sunday. Auguste Rodin gets to see him after his Epsom win. Could become the first horse since Harzan to do the English-Irish Derby double. There are 5-2 on, White Birch 5, Spreewell 6s, two horses who are looking to reverse the form, up and under 12s, Knight to King 16s, Adelaide River 33s. Bigger price about the other O'Brien horses. Lee, is it as simple as Auguste Rodin and we move on?
Yeah, keep it simple. Bounce back from a disappointing run in the Guineas. Won the Derby, beat King of Steel. That horse is a bull of a horse, like Harry says. Come out and won the other day at Ascot to frank the form. I don't think Spreewell handled Epsom and that horse and White Birch as well. The two of them didn't really get the rub of the green. They were a long way beat though behind Auguste Rodin. I think he'll win. I do think Spreewell will reverse the form for the forecast with White Birch. So Auguste Rodin to beat Spreewell.
Brilliant stuff. Harry, same as?
Yeah, point shoot. Auguste Rodin should win this, shouldn't he, really? Great bounce back to form. They've always kind of said, especially after the Doncaster win, was it the Burton Futurity? They were hoping to get good ground and send this horse to, and they'd see a proper animal in the Guineas. It wasn't to be. It was soft, boggy, horrible ground. And went to Epsom where it's rattling, and he showed the world what that horse could do. And I think Auguste Rodin is just a top class animal. So I hope, just for a viewing spectacle, that you see another performance here, because it'd be good for him to follow up. Who was the last horse that did it, Ash?
Harzan.
Dermot Wells, wasn't it?
Dermot Wells, Aga Khan in 2016. Looking to give Aidan O'Brien his 100th European Classic win and Ryan's first. So you can tell I do my studying, or I just knew that from work. Auguste Rodin for me, plain simple, really. If there was one to hit the frame, I think Proud and Regal can potentially outrun his odds for Donica O'Brien. So you'd be hoping the horse goes. Basically, angle for me is stepping up in trip. Hopefully can just get out a bit more improvement in the horse. Was disappointing behind Paddington the last day, but still didn't run a horrendous race. Paddington's obviously gone to improve the form a fair bit. I'd like to say on decent ground as well, this horse could probably be better. I know probably his best form behind that second to Alrifa at the Curragh in the National Stakes over 7 is probably, decent form, probably his best. But I'd say a return to better ground up in trip could just have the conditions come all together for him. Galilei out of a Dane Hill mare, the step up in trip should be fine, and the decent ground should be fine as well. The mare, Simply Perfect, very, very good horse on her day. A Group 1 winner, I believe, if I'm checking my notes correctly. Yeah, a Group 1 winner in the Fillies Mile, but has got some decent form on decent ground as well. So, I want to hit the frame, Proud and Regal, but it's Auguste Rodin for all. Gentlemen, I'll go on to anything else for the weekend. There's some fair races to cover that we haven't done. Lee, anything you want to mention quickly?
I'm bigging up Newcastle here because I think there's 3 good races to watch. On Thursday, the Delaval Handicap is always a competitive race. It's a Class 2. You've got the likes of Brunch, Isla Kai, Eileen Dub. There's a lot of good horses in there. It's just one to watch. I haven't really picked one yet. On Friday night, there's the Gossack Park Cup. A horse you like, Clarendon House, is running in that race. Zarzini, Arecibo, Montjamige, Vintage Clarets. It's a 5 furlong
race. What a race!
I know it's a good race. It's always a good race. That Gossack Park Cup, it's 5 furlong kind of dash, I would have said. And also on Friday, the one I have picked is the Group 3 Hoppins. Again, always turns out a good race. I think Poptronic won the race last season. Potapova, I think, was the favourite and well beat, but I think Poptronic won for Carl Burke. But Nashua goes for the Gosdens. Holly Doyle's going to be riding. She's already says that this horse is going there, and I think she's got a solid chance in this race. She's dropping down from that race behind above the curve at St. Cloud, but she is a Group 1 Nassau winner, and that's where they're going to go after here. They could have ran in the Pretty Polly. They're going to take the chance and just go here as a prep for the Nassau Stakes at Goodwood. So Nashua for the Goslins, I think it'll take the world of beating. Be a very short price, I would have said, but it's a Group 3 dropping down in class.
Lovely stuff. Harry, anything for you?
It'd be interesting if Matrika fulfills her early entry in the Early Stud Stakes. I think that's how you pronounce the name. That's in the Group 2 on the Saturday in the 2:15. I thought was arguably very unlucky. Well, not very unlucky in the Albany. I think Porta Fortuna obviously had her beating comfortably, but she was best of the rest by far, and gave Ryan Moore a great ride. And if she was to fulfill her entry, as I mentioned, I think she'll be hard to beat. Back at the Curragh as well, where she last won. But other than that, nothing for me. Right?
I will mention Jumbie in the Criterion Stakes. Not Criterion, Criterion Stakes. 11-2. Charlie Bishop pretty much gave the game away at Haydock, saying this horse is just like pretty much a very, very, very good horse at this distance in this class. Back to 7 furlong, or staying at 7 furlong, staying in a Group 3, where you've got Aldari at the top of the market, who I am convinced is soft ground.
But how are you going to back Jumbie when he's beat a regressive horse in Alcabella?
Oh, sorry, I've missed the game there.
You've ruined it. You've ruined it.
I
mean, you're giving £3 to Aldari when you're kind of £5 off. £5 wrong with the weights.
We're kind of get away from him, come on.
I've completely forgot El Caballo is regressive. Look, Aldari wants soft. I'd be concerned about Poga. I think he's a very good horse, but he needs to come back from his Queen Anne disappointment.
He'll have to bounce back, Pogo.
Yeah. Whether he... Very good. Missed that completely. David Berkshire Shadow, decent horse, but again, running from that Queen Anne. There's plenty of horses in here who have ran recently. Even Shining Blue ran at York 15 days ago. El Caballo is entered for this race, gentlemen. So we haven't Lee. So El Caballo is entered for this race. So maybe watch that out as an anti-post perspective.
I would laugh if he goes here. I would laugh. I don't see why
they should. I think they should drop him back down to 6.
I actually like one in this one as well, Ash. So.
Well, I'm with Jumbie. I thought he was very good the last day. I thought he had a fairly tough route through, round the outside, and I thought with a cleaner run through, he could be a much better horse on decent ground over 7. So Jumbie 11-2 for me.
I like El Caballo in this one. Actually,
I think he's a regressive horse.
He's actually really progressive. On his last 3 starts, he's been beaten 36 lengths, 38 cumulative. So, I think he's really progressive.
Lee, wouldn't you know? Lusail is entered in this race, 10-1, with Pat Dobbs jocked up.
One goal.
Patty Dobbs is there, so you don't know really. Anyway, that's for me. Naps, gentlemen, best bets of the race we covered. Harry, you've been a bad person this video, so I'm going to go to you first.
Tiber Flow for me, Ash. I think you'll win.
Thank you. I would hope you think he wins if you're putting him up. Lee.
Look, Nashua will be short. She'll go in, I reckon. But I'd take Nathaniel Green each way. Nashua
won't run.
That's the Gosden horse, isn't it?
She's going to the Nassau, isn't she?
No, she's going to the Hopman Stakes on Friday. That's Group 3 that I've just mentioned.
Oh, God, Jesus! Now I was completely zoned out there. I do apologise.
That's the one I'm on about. Who was behind above the curve, and we'll go to the Nassau
Oh,
after.
right.
Holly Doyle's
God.
already there.
I just got
Yep.
because I was with you.
I thought you were talking about a
My
different
head was
horse.
going. Yeah, right.
I
Yeah.
thought it was like a different horse. It was like Nashua in pronunciation. Oh, Jesus! I did not
Anyways,
realise.
It's the
Nashua.
Geordie.
It's the Geordies. Sorry, lads. Right, but yeah, she'll take the Group 3, I think, on Friday. But I think Nathaniel Green each way is a good each way play. If you can get them extra places, you'll probably be able to get up to 6. I would have reckoned. Maximum 20 field in the Northumberland Plate on Saturday.
A knocking each way bet. I'll be with Jumbie 11-2 in the Criterion Stakes. Lovely stuff. I need to put in the little card we have at the end that we go with. But that is all we've got time for. So make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Quick shout out, Harry, to the competition we got running, which is fast approaching the deadline.
Yeah, Saturday is the cut-off date. So if you do want to get involved in the competition, you'd have seen the video right at the start. So just send us a message, myself, Ash, or Lee, or the Only Fools of Horses Racing Twitter account. Just send us a message. We'll get you involved. £5 to win a prize, or 2 prizes worth over £350. So it's definitely worth entering, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I'll plug the video in now in the edit, but it won't be at the start. But I'll plug it in now, so make sure to have a look at the video now. Yeah, no, it's fantastic competition, brilliant prizes, and just only a few days away. So make sure to get your £5 entries in there. We'll be back at 10:30 a.m. on our Twitter page, Only Fools Love Horses Racing, for our finalised picks for the weekend's action over there. 10:30 a.m. Make
It
sure
should
to
be
set your
about
alarm
that
clocks.
one. Should be about
Set
it.
your
The
alarm
Alcaballo
clocks.
slander.
I'm more saying set your alarm clocks to Harry, because I can almost make it a 101 shot. It'll be out on Friday. But make sure to like, subscribe, follow over there. Follow us all on our Twitters on the page there. And we'll see you very, very soon to talk about some more high-class racing. If you're having a bet, please do gamble responsibly. And we'll see you very, very soon.